Hey gang, this is a roaming prepper. Just wanted to touch base with you. As you can tell by my voice, still not feeling awesome. I did want to do a quick follow-up video to my prior video about the spy balloons and what my thoughts were about them. I had a few people reach out with some of their own thoughts about how that balloon played out and what its purpose was. I'll be right back and let's talk about some of the things and what I think might be at play here. Hey, so welcome back, guys. I'm gonna keep these videos this week kind of short and sweet. As you can tell, I'm not feeling awesome. I've been rolling a low-grade fever for a few days now. Fortunately, for my age, I'm actually in really good health, so I'm not having the lung issues. I don't know if I'm the Rona or the flu. So I either have Spirona or the balloon flu. Take your pick. I don't know. Anyway, to the topic at hand. I had people reach out that the balloon could be an EMP device, like a machine, a nuke, a biological dispenser, and then there's the obvious, it was a surveillance satellite, surveillance platform. So I'll address those one at a time. So as far as if you used a machine like a capacitor pulsar or capacitance pulsar to create an EMP, that kind of machine would be phenomenally large. You would need a semi to carry a machine of that size, and it would only affect, maybe a quarter mile, a mile. And this is just some machinery that I've seen in the past. When it fails, it gives off an electromagnetic pulse. So in light of that, probably unlikely that would be deployed by a balloon. That's just very impractical. Just the physics of building that device makes it too heavy to put in a balloon practically. Can you make a big enough balloon? Well, yeah, you can. We made the Hindenburg, right? You can make a damn Zeppelin and carry something heavy around, but then that becomes really obvious. So, not holding that one. A nuke, as I mentioned in the previous videos, the smallest suitcase nukes are roughly 150 to 200 pounds. I'm sure they can make slightly smaller ones. It's not a question of the electronics being smaller. The electronics have gotten phenomenally small. It's the fact that you need a specific amount of uranium-238. And by the way, that number 238 is its molecular weight. So by comparison, water, H2O, has a very low molecular weight in the double digits, whereas uranium's in the triple digits. So it's just phenomenally heavy stuff. It's heavier than lead, and you need a certain quantity of it to create a sufficiently large explosion to create a tactically effective EMP. And to tote that in the air with the hopes that, the balloon doesn't accidentally deflate, it comes crashing down and, contaminates a bunch of stuff. And then that's a nuclear attack. And then China's going to get beaten the crap out of. That doesn't make a lot of sense either. Now, could they put smaller devices and maybe drop them in places? Possibly. But that, again, just the physics of the amount of material you need to tote in a balloon. Again, you can make a Zeppelin, you can make this grand-ass blimp or airship. But then that becomes really obvious what you're doing and who's doing it. It will probably need a pilot or a much more robust mechanism than little propellers and wind vanes, and is probably going to provoke a pretty bad response. Option 3, people talked about a biological weapon. At that altitude, oxygen is lacking. You're exposed to a lot of UV rays and cosmic rays up there that you are not exposed to at the surface of the Earth. And could you put like a biological agent in a capsule of some type and deploy it? Possibly. I'm not saying that's not possible, but the physics, again, would make it very difficult to do that. You do get very high UV radiation in the outer atmosphere because you're not protected by the other layers of the Earth's atmosphere. You're also exposed to cosmic rays. That's not something I made up. That's actually on the spectrum of electromagnetic energy bandwidths. Past X-rays is cosmic rays, and that will, you don't know what that's going to do. That might just destroy all your biological agents. So is it possible? Yes. The physics of the size of the item work. You could put a biological agent in a balloon and then deposit it somewhere. Is it something I think would make a lot of sense or would be very effective, or they would be guaranteed effective? It's hard to say. Probably not. It would be more effective at lower altitudes, but then if it comes lower, people are going to really notice it. So yeah, that. So then you're down to part 3, or other possibility for it's simply a surveillance balloon, which is what I think it is. I think at that altitude, they're able to collect cell phone, shortwave, FM, AM, all sorts of other data, and they can probably get some more clear pictures over certain locations that may not be as clear in satellites. Again, I take that with a grain of salt. During Hurricane Harvey, I was in a telecoms unit, and we were live streaming reconnaissance plane data to the White House of the flooded areas. And on the screen, the altitude of that aircraft was 29,000 feet. But this fucker could zoom in to where I could see the guy had a black hoodie on versus a guy with an orange hoodie. We could make out the colors. We could actually see the windshields of the car. So how much more resolution could they get? That's hard to say. I don't have a basis of comparison, a spy satellite versus a reconnaissance aircraft. I've seen the input from reconnaissance aircrafts. I haven't seen spy satellite photos, so I don't know. But they may be able to get more clear pictures of photographs. I bet you they were collecting all sorts of electronic information or SIGINT, signal intelligence, which would make a lot of sense. But I also think the balloon, so that's my take, is that this was a signal intelligence and reconnaissance mission. Now, because why would China give a damn about us, our weather, right? And you want to take it a step further. If it was an errant weather balloon, they could have just gone public a week ago and said, oh, we lost control of our weather balloon. It's going to go over the U.S. And they would have headed off, the U.S. getting all puffed up about it. China was absolutely tight-lipped until they got called out. If it was just an oopsie, look what we did, they would have said it up front, and they would have shut down any negative arguments. So, but I think there was more to it. It wasn't just a balloon, and I think they got limited info from that. I actually think it was a political stunt. The State of the Union address, today is the 6th of February of 23. The 7th is when the president is supposed to make his State of the Union speech. And this is going to be a terrible, terrible black eye for the current administration. It's not the first time China or Russia have done this to one of our sitting presidents beforehand. You know, right before State of the Union. I'm sure we do shit to them too, we just don't know about. But this one was really blatant, like it was just in your face. This is what we're doing, look what we did. And then we shot the damn thing down, and now they're all up in arms because we shot their toy down. I think a lot of it had to do with embarrassing the U.S. right before the State of the Union address. What they want to get out of it is anybody's guess. I couldn't tell you. But in any case, guys, that's my general take on what the balloon's purpose was, what it was supposed to be for, and yeah, hopefully that's the end of it. Because I'll tell you what, these there was a time and a place where that thing would never have made it over the mainland. They'd have shot it down in the Pacific, and they would have gone and collected the pieces. So I don't know if we gained something out of it as it floated across the U.S. Maybe we were reading its signals and we learned stuff as well. Maybe we had hacked it somehow, which wouldn't be impossible, and we were collecting information from them. unbeknownst to the general public. There are a lot of little unknowns here. But folks, as far as an EMP machine, unlikely, too heavy. Nuke, you'd need a bigger balloon, and again, unlikely. It'd also give off a radiological signal, which would flag everybody, and that would be an act of war, not an act of provocation. Biological, the size works, right? The weight of a contaminant would work. How effective it would be deploying it from 25 miles up and assuming that the biological or chemical agent doesn't totally get destroyed by radiation in the upper atmosphere. Maybe, maybe not. I can't rule it out, but maybe, maybe not. My thing is, I think this was a reconnaissance mission that they either lost control of it, or they were committed and they're like, well, let's just go over everything because they're going to shoot it down anyway. And it was also meant politically to give the U.S. a black eye before the State of the Union. So I'm interested to see how the State of the Union pans out when it gets put on the air. But in any case, folks, that's my take. And if you have any comments or questions, or you want to talk more about the physics and the methodology of what I was thinking, feel free to comment in the chat below. In light of how I feel, I may or may not be on a premiere chat. So you guys be good, be safe, God bless, and keep your eyes open, pay attention. Interesting times. So let's learn something out of all this weirdness. Take care.